Good rising, brethren. This is Big Judah coming to you guys from California. Before I begin, give all praise to the Most High Yahweh. Acknowledgement to the earthly mother. Who is wisdom? Who is the Holy Spirit? Acknowledgement to Yahweh Shai. I pray the Most High blesses this lesson this evening, gives us more knowledge and understanding of the events of the past, in order to understand events that are currently happening on the earth, so we get a much better understanding of the things that are soon to come on the earth. Every day, as you can see, the Father and the Holy Spirit are here exposing these Gentiles and all the cronies that are with them as to having no understanding whatsoever. As he gives us more deep understanding of writings, it becomes more and more evident that they have no understanding. I'm sitting there just looking at, a lot of these other channels and the things they're talking about. And, it's like, we got 3 weeks. We got 2 weeks. We got 1 week. This is about to happen. This is about to happen. Now, if you went back 2 weeks and looked at their videos 2 weeks ago, I'm sure they had videos that said that in 2 weeks, which would be now, things were going to happen. So they just keep on making videos, saying the same things over and over again. And then, Zelensky goes to Washington today or yesterday, and they made it seem like a hero just came to town. And, hey, I guess he showed up, so I guess he earned a few more $1 billion. Just to show you how, this society is. They don't even have to ask. They're going to get whatever it is they want and then some. That just shows you how this society is. As a people here, we're not to be looking for them to eventually, try to make things right with us. That's not what this society is for. But what you're understanding, that at least I can speak for myself, is the more understanding that the Most High gives me, the more this place is revealed as just, it's just a bunch of garbage. It talks about it in the Nag Hammadi, that when you have your eyes open, you realize that this world is a corpse. And you're going to see some information today, that it's just, and that's exactly what it is. The vast majority of the people here don't care about the truth. They are quick to they're quick to just dismiss anything. If it's their team, if it's, their religion, if it's their country, they will turn a blind eye to absolutely everything. Today, I saw a couple of articles talking about the Pope. A couple of the subscribers sent me some links, and it also popped up on my feed, and how the Pope was talking about how there's an elegant demon, within the church, or and it's like that those demons have always been there, but they want to make it seem like this demon just showed up and it's wreaking havoc at this point. And then there was another story about a Jesuit who, I don't know, 3 decades ago was having relations with nuns, and they just swept it under the rug like they always do. Like we said, they just constantly, if it's their team, they're just going to turn a blind eye. And then people who go to these churches, they see the articles, they see the things that these organizations are doing, but they just don't care. They don't care, about actually doing some studying, making some changes. They will just go ahead and continue with status quo. But status quo is going to get them destroyed, not just physically, but it's going to get them destroyed spiritually. I said the scriptures. I said, the Bible. We're going to talk about some things right now, because I said this. The more you understand and you get, the more you realize, like, there are a lot of hidden topics in the Bible that just expose these Gentiles and these heathens even more. And we're going to get into that some this evening. The hidden meaning with the number 12, hidden meaning with, the zodiacs. We're going to get into this book right here, talking about the secret doctrine. And I just love how, from H.P. Blavatsky, Science, Religion, and Philosophy. And they don't prove any of the information wrong. They just, as always, give it a name, give it a title. Oh, she's a witch. It's magic. Don't look at it. And then they think they've done something, and that's all that they've done. They don't prove absolutely anything. But what we're going to take a look at is this information about the zodiacs all over the scriptures. The zodiacs, information about the zodiacs is all over the scriptures. And it's amazing because you're going to see how the Greeks, so-called white man, when he got his opportunity to elevate, he wanted to go worldwide and make it seem as if he was the one that was bringing this information worldwide. And you're going to realize that the people already around the world knew about this stuff because it was already given to us by our Father. Our Father had already downloaded this information to us a long time before the Greeks showed up. But the thing is that, for the Greeks to have the gall to say that they were the ones that took this information worldwide, just shows you, the lengths that they will go to try to gain some relevancy. Let's take a look here real quick from the book, okay? The Zodiac and its Antiquity. All men are apt to have a high conceit of their own understanding, and to be tenacious of the opinions they profess, said Jordan, justly adding to this, and yet almost all men are guided by the understandings of others, not by their own, and may be said more truly to adopt than to beget their opinions. And that's why the Most High said, you're going to have to become as a child again, because, you've just been getting other people's understandings and you've just been accepting those. This becomes doubly true in the matter of scientific opinions upon hypotheses offered for consideration. The prejudice and preconceptions of authorities, so-called, often deciding upon questions of the most vital importance for history. Okay? There are several such predetermined opinions among our learned Orientalists, yet few are more unjust or illogical than the general error with regard to the antiquity of the zodiac. Thanks to the hobby of some German Orientalists, English and American Sanskritists have accepted Professor Weber's opinion that the peoples of India had no idea or knowledge of the zodiac prior to Macedonian invasion. See, they make sure they get somebody with a title, and then they're going to come in there and say something off the wall like the people of India didn't have any of this information until the Greeks showed up, until the Macedonians showed up, because they're always trying to, give themselves some validity. And it's just absolutely ridiculous how they can just come out and just say these kinds of things. All right. So let's see. The Macedonian invasion. And that it is from the Greeks that the ancient Hindus imported it into their country. We are further told by several other authorities that no Eastern nation knew of the zodiac before the Hellenists, kindly acquainted their neighbors with their invention. See that? Again, no one questions. They just get to go ahead and just say whatever it is they want. And those types of tactics go on all the way until today. But as you're going to see, it's going to that whole theory, that whole thought process is going to get destroyed right here. But see, once it gets destroyed, then the Greeks or the Hellenists, they don't say anything. They don't try to prove their point. They'll just keep on with the lie, as they always do. So again, Hellenists kindly acquainted their neighbors with their invention. This in the face of the book of Job, declared, even by themselves, to be the oldest in the Hebrew canon, certainly prior to Moses. and which speaks of the making of Arcturus, Orion, and the Pleiades. Okay, and the chambers of the south of Scorpio and the Mazzaroth, the 12 signs. Okay, and then there it is right there in Job. If you want to look it up, Job 38, 31, 32. Which words, if they mean anything, imply knowledge of the zodiac, even among the nomadic Arabic tribes. I know to try to throw the Arabs in there, whatever else. Always, it can be it can be everybody but us. Nothing new. The book of Job, they say, precedes Homer and Hesiod by at least 1,000 years. The two Greek poets having themselves flourished some 8 centuries before the Christian era. So, so these guys are like way after the book of Job and way before the Christian era. Okay? One who prefers by the by to believe Plato, who shows Homer flourishing far earlier, could point to a number of zodiacal signs mentioned in the Iliad and the Odyssey, okay, and the Orphic poems and elsewhere. So as you can tell, they copy that information from somewhere else. They try to make it seem as if everyone's copying it from them, okay? But we know that they copied it from people that would have this information way before they did, okay? But see, and look at it today. Today, the exact same things are going on as these people are being exposed. As they keep on coming out with videos talking about the same things over and over again, talking about Russia's about to do this and Russia's about to do that, and oh, NATO's going to do this and NATO's going to do that, and nothing happens because see, these scriptures, these writings, were all written before there were Russians, before there were so-called Ish, before there were so-called Iranians. Okay, so to sit there and try to use these people that are there today to fulfill prophecy shows you how they're always going to be wrong because they have nothing to do with these ancient writings. They just try to interject themselves, and as soon as they did that, and it worked for a while we were asleep, but now that the Most High has awakened us, you can easily see through the lies. Okay, so hold on real quick. But since the cock and bull hypothesis of some modern critics to the effect that neither Orpheus nor yet Homer and Hesiod ever existed, okay, it would seem time lost to mention these archaic authors at all. The Arabian Job, you see, like I said, I just love that because they got to make sure they got to give credit to anybody else. They're still part of Psalms 83. All these groups are still part of Psalms 83. And it's funny talking about the Arabian Job because I was watching a video. I'm sure most of you guys have already saw it or seen it. It was the Go Black to Africa video where the Egyptians were upset with Kevin Hart because they were saying that he was trying to blackwash history and trying to make it seem as if, a lot of the ancient Egyptians were so-called black people. And they were upset and they wanted to boycott his shows and everything else. Because, like I said, hello, there's been so many people that have gone in and conquered that land. And the people that are there now are just the, last in the line of people who have conquered the land. They're not the originals. And that's worldwide. You got the conquerors all over the world. You got the conquistadors everywhere. Okay? And they're still there even to today. And you guys should be upset with your people because they've lied to you about your origins. They've been working so hard to hide everything about us that they're hiding everything about you as well. And now when if you ever just took a look and started doing some research, you're going to see real quick that many of the things you've been taught aren't true as well. Okay, so again, let's see here. The Arabian Job will suffice, unless indeed his volume of Lamentations, along with the poems of the two Greeks adding to them, those of Linus, should now be also declared to be the patriotic forgery of the Jew Aristobulus. But if the zodiac was known in the days of Job, how could the civilized and philosophical Hindus have remained ignorant of it? And we already know who the Hindus were. Hindus were, it wasn't land and the people that were there, like right now. We got that was it. We got our lands over here in the Americas. You know, talk about India superior. So we know that the borders that you see today are not the same ones that were present a long time ago. Okay, so let's skip on down. Well, let's go ahead. Risking the arrows of modern criticism, rather blunted by misuse, the reader may be made acquainted with Bailey's learned opinion upon the subject. Inferred speculations may be shown to be erroneous. Mathematical calculations stand on more secure grounds. Taking a starting point, several astronomical references in Job. Hold on real quick. Bailey devised a very ingenious means of proving that the earliest founders of the science of the zodiac belonged to an antediluvian primitive people. And primitive doesn't mean that they didn't have understanding. This means that they're old. Okay, but see, again, with their words, they can kind of make it seem like that. I mean, how could you be primitive and have understanding of the zodiac and this deep understanding, especially when they didn't have it? Okay, so it says the fact that he seems willing to see in Thoth, Seth, and in Fohi of China some of the biblical patriarchs does not interfere with the validity of his proof as to the antiquity of the zodiac. Even accepting for argument's sake his cautious 3,700 years BC as the correct age of the science, this date proves in the most irrefutable way that it was not the Greeks who invented the zodiac, for the simple reason that they did not yet exist as a nation 37 centuries BC, not as an historical race admitted by the critics at any rate. You see that? They weren't even a people at that time. So there's no way that they could be the ones that came up with the zodiac and that understanding. But you still got all these people who are supposedly in the truth, who will still give validity to the Greeks of today, the Greeks and the Romans of today, and still play on their playground and read only the books that they have approved, when this information has absolutely nothing to do with it. 3,700 BC was when this information, was out. The science was out, and the Greeks were not even a people. So why today would you even be listening to anything that they're saying? Why would you be listening to their breakdown on absolutely anything? Why would you be listening to their breakdown on prophecy when these writings have nothing to do with it? See that? Bailey then calculated the period at which the constellations manifested the atmospheric influence. Okay, I'm going to let you guys read that part on your own because I want you to see this next part. This just shows again how the Bible, the scriptures, have nothing to do with the Greeks. Just because they've thrown their pictures in there, just because they've made everybody white because of the pictures and everything else and try to give themselves some validity, this section right here is going to show you that these scriptures have nothing to do with them. So we've already established a point that this science of the zodiacs was around 3700 BC. We already established that the Greeks were not even a people in 3700 BC. So therefore, these writings that you're going to see right here have nothing to do with them. So why would you listen to their breakdown? Why do we still have people that are supposedly in the truth right now, still needing their approval, still wanting to talk to, have debates with these people? When the Most High constantly has said that they're going to come and say that their fathers have inherited lies. You can easily see the lies that they've inherited. Talks about here, if you look at the top in Second Kings. You can read the top part on your own right there. I'm not going to go through all of that, but you can check it out right there. There's a lot of information. Like these books are full of information, and they're full of information that cannot be refuted. That's why they're so quiet. They're like, okay, well, I guess it's time for another Russia video. It's time for another video about Russia getting ready to they're gassing up their planes. Oh, it's another video about the United States has grounded all their bombers. Oh, they're going to go ahead and get their planes ready because they're getting ready to do it. It's like that's all that they talk about, and then nothing happens. Oh, they hit inside of Russia. Russia's going to be going after them ASAP. Nothing. Just like I said, this information, these writings have nothing to do with them. So therefore, you are going to have to go deeper. You're going to have to, talk to the father. You're going to have to talk to the mother. You're going to have to get understanding from them, because you're not going to get understanding from absolutely anyone else in these lands, because they don't have any, and most of them don't want any. They're very content not knowing anything. Now check this part out. This was mind-blowing information right here. So I want to start here. Moreover, we're going to start in the middle. Moreover, you know what? Hold on. No, let's go up a little higher. So patent is the fact that the Roman Catholic writers, especially among the French Ultramontanes, have tacitly agreed to connect the 12 Jewish patriarchs with the signs of the zodiac. Now, see, how is it that you're going to have pictures of all these so-called white people, okay, representing the 12 tribes, and you're going to see right here how how connected the 12 tribes are with the zodiac right now. It can't be them, because they were not even around. Okay, so again, have tacitly agreed to connect the 12 Jewish patriarchs with the signs of the zodiac. This is done, okay, in a kind of prophetico mystic way, which would sound to pious and ignorant ears like a portentous sign, a tacit divine recognition of the chosen people of God, whose finger has purposely traced, okay, in heaven from the beginning of creation, the number of these patriarchs. For instance, these writers, okay, recognize, curiously enough, all the characteristics of the 12 signs of the zodiac, and the words addressed by the dying Jacob to his sons, and in his definitions of the future of each tribe. Now you're going to see, remember that in Genesis, how he's breaking it down, okay, and telling how each tribe, like what each child is going to be going through in the end days, and that's actually set up through the zodiac. You're going to see that right here. Like I said, this was absolutely mind blowing. Okay, so let's see here. So it tells you where it is right there. Moreover, the respective banners of the same tribes are claimed to have exhibited the same symbols and the same names as the signs, repeated in the 12 stones of the Urim and Thummim, and on the 12 wings of the cherub, leaving the proof of exactitude and the alleged correspondence to the said mystics. It is as follows. Man, or the Aquarius, okay, is in the sphere of Reuben, who is declared as unstable as water. Okay, the Vulgate has it to be rushing like water. Gemini, in a strong fraternal association, okay, of Simeon and Levi. Leo, and that of Judah, the strong lion, okay, of his tribe, the lion's whelp. The Pisces in Zebulon, who shall dwell at the haven of the sea. Taurus in Issachar, because he is a strong ass, okay, couching down, etc., and therefore associated with the stables. Virgo, okay, Scorpio in Dan, who is described as a serpent, an adder, and the path that biteth, etc. Capricornus in Naphtali, who is a hind, a deer, let loose. Cancer in Benjamin, for he is ravenous. Libra, the balance, in Asher, whose bread shall be fat. Sagittarius in Joseph, because his bow abode in strength. To make up for the 12th sign, Virgo, okay, made independent of Scorpio, is Dinah, the only daughter of Jacob. See Genesis, okay? Tradition shows the alleged tribes carrying the 12 signs on their banners. But the Bible is, besides these, full of 12 signs, okay, on their banners. But the Bible is, besides these, full of the theocosmological and astronomical symbols and personifications. Okay? So again, how does a people, no, so they went back and said that this, science was from around 3700 BC. way before the so-called Greeks, way before the Romans. It's in your scriptures. It's in the Bible. How is it that they have any claim whatsoever to this information? And if they don't have any claim to this information, then here now in these last days, why are you listening to their breakdowns? You see that? You shouldn't be. That's why you should be studying to show yourself approved. That's why you have all these events going on the last few weeks, because they're trying to get you right back into day one material, stuff that they can control, stuff that fits their narrative. They don't want you to realize that your information and your understanding is ancient, and they don't want you to make those connections. They want you just to stay with what they've told you. They want you to keep on giving them all of your allegiance. And that just shows you right here that if you can't prove that you were the ones who came up with this science, then that book's not yours. And that shows exactly why the breakdown of the prophecies are all wrong for you every single day. That's why you're stuck just regurgitating the same things over and over again. That's why you're trying to say things like, we're trying to blackwash history, when that's exactly what you've done. The devil's really good at blaming others for what he's done. But now the Most High, like I said, is exposing this truth. So like I said, hey, prove that this information was yours. If you can't do that, then you need to put the scriptures down. You need to stop trying to tell people what they can and can't read. Tell people what is good and what's not, because you don't have any authority over that whatsoever. All praise to the Most High Yahweh. Acknowledgement to the earthly mother. Who is wisdom? Who is Holy Spirit? Acknowledge Yahweh Shai. Shalom.